I'm Brianna Denski, and I play June in Wonder Park. Wonder Park is about this girl who thinks up an amusement park with her mom, and it ends up coming to life, like characters, the rides, everything. Wonderland is this amusement park, and it's just absolutely amazing. She's very close with her mom, yeah. June loves her mom loves her. They both have such creative minds and wild imaginations. June's mom gets sick, she comes down with an illness, and June is affected by this very much. Peanut is a monkey. He basically is the leader of all the animals, and he creates all the rides through a voice in his ear. With his magic marker, he draws it out and it comes to life. Both June and I, we both like to think positively. We're problem solvers in most of our situations. We both have very, very wild imaginations. And we are just creative people in general. However, June is, she's way better at fixing and organizing things than I am. Greta the boar is, she takes charge, and she is the best problem solver of the group. She always knows what to do, her mind works very quick, and she's just an amazing girl. Steve the porcupine keeps everyone safe, he makes sure everything is in order, he makes sure no one is going to die, he makes sure everyone has a great time. Boomer the welcome bear, he is also a very, very happy character. He makes sure everybody is entertained, he makes sure everyone's happy, and if anyone was sad, he'd always be there to give them a great big hug. Gus and Cooper, the Beaver brothers, are, they work together, they create, they fix anything that needs to be fixed, and they get into trouble every so often, but Greta's there to keep them in line. Wonderland was in shambles when June first finds the park. Everything's overgrown, everything's broken down, nothing's in working condition, there's a lot of fixing need to be done. The Wonder Chimps are little stuffed versions of Peanut in many, many different outfits. And they tell you really cute things, and chimpan zombies are just the Wonder Chimps taken over by the darkness, and they wreak havoc everywhere they go. The importance of friendship and teamwork is that it keeps you with everyone and everyone gets things done. It makes sure that there's no stopping what you're doing and every problem gets solved and everybody, the project is completed, everybody's happy, and it works out great. The importance of your imagination is, well, it keeps the child in you alive. It keeps everyone, well, it keeps whoever uses their imagination really happy. You get to create, you get to imagine, and you get to explore your own mind. If I could ride any ride in Wonderland, it would definitely be the Sky Flinger. I love rides that just give you an adrenaline rush and a very large thrill. My favorite type of ride in real life would always have to be the really big roller coasters, one with the huge drops and the insane turns. The ones that people would be really afraid to go on. I always have to take on the challenge. This film will resonate with kids because it has really bright colors. Kids love bright colors, and when they watch it, they will learn the importance of imagination and teamwork and friendship, and hopefully they carry that on with their lives. I hope audiences get the overall feeling of happiness and acceptance and understanding the importance of friends and family.
My name is John Oliver, and I play Steve the Porcupine on Wonder Park. To prepare for the role of a porcupine, what I imagined, conveniently, was that porcupines sound a lot like me. So once I kind of made that decision, that very brave decision as a performer, things just fell into place after that. So as long as you kind of put your own voice into most animals' minds, I could play any animal on Earth. Here, name an animal right now. Name one. Any animal.
Giraffe.
A giraffe. Hi, I'm a giraffe. Right? It is great. Yeah. That is a very kind insinuation that I'm a lot more professional than I am. What I do is put my bag down, take my coat off, start speaking. That's basically it. There's no kind of Laurence Olivier, you know, actors make a lot of noises. That's what actors do, right? They make a lot of noises. Here's the thing. Generally, doing voiceover, you are actually making a lot of noises. The most fun stuff is finding yourself, an adult human being, kind of running on the spot, wee! It's everything. Like if you were to show me a video of me making noises, if you were to show that video to me as a 6-year-old, I'd go, see, you can make a living doing that. It's incredibly fun. I don't warm up much, to be honest. Yeah, my voice is not so much an instrument as something. It's like a baseball bat. Others might describe Steve as a little uptight, a little bit of a killjoy. What Steve would describe himself as the heart of soul of everything working anywhere. So yeah, he's not loosey-goosey, right? He's not Captain Funtime, if that's a title that anyone truly deserves. What Steve is he's a rock, right? He provides stability, foundation for fun, right? And what's more fun at the end of the day than a solid foundation? That's what Steve would argue. I mean, you're going to have to give me a second there, because you've got to understand that Greta the boar is the manifestation of everything beautiful in this world for Steve. You might look at Greta and think, that is a pretty regular looking boar. Steve would have to work very hard not to slap you across the face if you were to vocalise that. That's his angel. You've got to understand that. That's his walking, honking angel. If you were to ask Steve what Greta did, you get a very confusing response, because I'm not sure he'd be able to tell you. He'd say she floats when she doesn't. She walks, her trotters make contact with the floor like everyone else. Steve would swear blind to you that boar floated through the air on a sweet-smelling cloud. Whereas a more objective viewer would probably say almost the opposite of that is true with Greta. But to Steve, she's sheer perfection. So she basically is his muse. Like when he's frightened, she makes him braver. Right? When she's, when she's there in any form, she makes him nervous but happier. Now with Greta, you get a Steve who wants to be a better porcupine. He wants things to be even safer than they already are. And bear in mind, he already wants things to be maximum safe. Wonder chimps are superficially incredibly cute, right? And there's nothing that's not fun and enticing about the wonder chimps. What they become is chimpan zombies, and that is more problematic for the entire park. So you have something which on its surface is the most appealing thing in the park, the cutest, funniest, squeakiest things, and they become demons. For kids, it is the best way to interact with the world, is to employ a vivid imagination, because you want to feel as a kid that anything is possible. You want to play in your mind with what is and isn't real. And I guess the worry is that as an adult, that gets curbed, and in its saddest form, adulthood can involve very little imagination. You're just becoming someone just concerned about practicality all the time. Whereas the best thing about being a kid and being around kids is that practicality is just not really their main concern. They've got other stuff on their mind, and what other stuff there is incredible. I hope it will resonate a lot with kids. I hope it will encourage them to continue to think differently and not to allow themselves to get boxed in. And I hope perhaps even more importantly, it will encourage parents to encourage that part of their children. Because I think superficially, kids living in a fantasy world can seem frivolous, whereas in fact you could barely think of anything more important for a kid. It's just like exercising their brain and imagining anything that gets thrown at them. And that is, you know, an absolutely critical part of childhood. And so I think as parents you want to protect that as much as you can. As a new parent now, like watching, it's rare that I'm prouder of my kid than when he's sitting in his own little world, coming up with goodness knows what. I hope kids will feel inspired. I hope parents will feel empowered to really embolden their children's imagination. And just as a moviegoer, I know I've not seen animation like this before, as spectacular as this, and it's a pretty overwhelming experience. So I'm a parent now, and I've got like a relatively demanding job, so I haven't been to a movie theatre for about 3 years. And so this was the first time I'd been inside a movie theatre for a while, and it was great. So I would recommend, even if you only see one movie every 3 years, as I have, that this is a pretty good place to start.
I'm Jeong, and I play Cooper, one of the beavers in Wonder Park. Cooper the beaver is he, along with his brother Gus, played by the amazing Keenan Thompson. We're brothers, and we're kind of the fix-its. You know, we're the fixers of the amusement park. So we really are well-intentioned, and but at the same time, I think we're kind of limited by our own kind of beaver neuroses, if you will, with our own kind of manic energy, and also our little kind of petty sibling rivalry that we have, but they love each other at the same time. So I really enjoy that dynamic of kind of brotherly friction and competitiveness, but they love each other. I think Gus is a little bit smarter. The best part was actually working with Keenan Thompson, and we got to be really good friends out of that. So the first session that we did together, and it was so much fun, just kind of jumping off of his energy. So I just remember the sessions that we had were mostly laughter, and they were able to grab some pieces of usable dialogue, because he just is one of the funniest people in the world to me, and I just to me it was just really kind of, it's beautiful when you can really work with people you really admire. Greta the boar, played by the wonderful Mila Kunis, she, I think, is the leader of all of us in the Wonder Park. She really is, I think, the smartest, and always has a plan, and very much the team leader. And I feel like Gus and Cooper really, you know, kind of need her for guidance. Steve the porcupine, played by the amazing John Oliver, he has a crush on Greta. So I really love, having worked with John Oliver before on Community. It's really lovely to see him as a porcupine with a crush. I mean, I just love the fact you can't see his eyes, and he has literally the best voice. I just love his voice. Boomer the bear, he is really the he's a bear with a sleep disorder. He's the narcoleptic bear that's as a doctor, he's in desperate need of a bear sleep study, maybe they can do that when he hibernates. But I think that he falls asleep at the most inopportune times, notably the roller coaster scene. Can't get any worse than that. So yeah, there's a lot of what I love about all the animals, and I think it's exemplified with Boomer, is that they're characters with certain. We all have characters with certain quirks or flaws that we all together we can kind of overcome. And I think success in life is all about teamwork and friendship. It always takes a village, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, whether it be personally or professionally. To me, it's personally like the love of family, love of my wife and kids who, have all of them support me in what I do and vice versa. We all, I think we are stronger collectively than we are individually. So if you extrapolate that and apply that to this world, it's no different. It's, it takes a village, and it takes teamwork to really, everyone's good at something, and it's trying to really find out what they're good at and to apply their energies in a constructive place. A healthy creative space is important lifelong, and whether you're a child or an adult, it's important to always challenge yourself to, think outside the box. And, it's something that, going through with my kids right now is like really applying yourself, I love it when my daughters are doing science projects or, doing little kind of like my daughters did like this little stop motion science movie for school, and it's not unlike an animated movie, and to see them really just get into it and do it because they love it, and to see their actual passion for it, that's what every parent wants their kid to have. That kind of genuine passion for what you do, and the way to continue that passion of what you do is to always use your imaginations, to always think, to always be stimulated creatively. And that's not just in the arts, it's in the sciences, it's anything you do, whether it be academic or athletic or artistic. I think, imagination is what drives the execution. Well, I can tell you the ride I wouldn't go on. And my wife and kids will tease me about it. It's the roller coaster. I'm not really a big roller coaster fan. If you see me on other amusement parks, when they kind of snap that photo at the end right before the descent, I'm literally always like, while my kids are like this, and my wife is like this, I'm literally like, so that is the ride that I bump on. Wonder Ken or Ken Park. Still debating, I've had many sleepless nights over that, so I think Wonder Ken flows well, but Ken Park, my name's up first. I have top billing. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. I think this is the ultimate family film, and I think this film just brings everybody together. There's such a pure heart into this film and pure joy that you don't see a lot, and it really is. It's not about even the comedy that I bring to it or the energy. I think it's just all about making sure that we're supplying the heart to the story, and I think people will enjoy it because of its heart. It's very wonderful. It's very emotional, and it's very loving.
My name is Keenan Thompson. I play Gus the Beaver, the brother of the illustrious Cooper the Beaver. Illustrious. I don't know what that even means. Like he's illustrated well. When I warm up for a usual voiceover job, I tend to make some tea or something like that to try to get the vocal pipes ready. Do a little, vocal warm up, get the mouth, the tip of the teeth and the tongue and the in the tooth. But no, honestly, I go in there and do my thing. As long as everybody's cool, we just, find a vibe together and we just start working. Wonder Park is the story of a little girl named June who has a wild imagination, and she comes up with this amusement park, and then she goes and discovers that it's actually real. Like, it came to life and her imagination all comes to life. My character Gus is a beaver, and he has a brother named Cooper, played by the great Jeong, Dr. Ken for the layman. The dynamic between Gus and Cooper is, pretty interesting because they like to argue at the same time. They fix everything together, and they work really well together, so they kind of need each other. So it's fun to watch them like argue while they're like fixing things at the same time. I would describe Gus's personality kind of just as, fun-loving type of guy, you know what I mean? They're just high energy. Like, for some reason, I just assume that beavers are just like all over the place because that's how they are in cartoons. In real life, they're kind of just big and sluggish and wet all the time. Bloody, weird brown teeth on beavers in real life. I don't like it. But in cartoons, they're fun and they're bouncy, all over the place. Gus's role in the park, he's kind of like in the maintenance department. So him and his brother do all the maintenance for all the rides and stuff. If anything's broken, they're like the first ones to try to get out there and fix it. When the park first opens, we have everything is very happy and very fantasy land and very candy all over the place. And we have these wonderful little characters, these Wonder Chimp dolls that are little cute little chimpanzee dolls that are very family friendly. And all the kids love them. And then something happens and they turn into these chimpanzee zombies. And it's kind of terrifying because they're trying to tear the park down all of a sudden. And then there's a super duper army of them. And we have to kind of fight them off and save the day. I would like to point out the fact that friendship and teamwork kind of go hand in hand, when you figure out the fact that you work better as a team, a friendship usually forms out of that if it hasn't formed already. So if you have a friend and you team up with them and everything goes according to plan in the beginning, that's just, a plus for everybody. But usually what happens if you don't, know a person or whatever and you team up and do something awesome, you'll form a friendship out of that. So friendship, teamwork, hand in hand. Using your imagination is super important all your life, especially, when you're a kid because, it's just fun to create a world outside of, the obvious world that you're living in. You want to put more colors into it or, throw in a talking chimpanzee or something like that that you wouldn't get in real life. So imagination is a lot of fun when you're a kid. And then when you're an adult, it helps you to think outside the box. A lot of jobs and stuff want you to think outside the box and be a creative thinker or, a creative driver. No, I'm just kidding. You should follow all driving rules. But, using your imagination, it keeps you young. It keeps you happy. You know what I mean? It makes life exciting. And then where would we be if people didn't have an imagination? I get very into rides and themes and puppet shows and all of that. I'm very, I get really, really into the story of stuff too, because that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. You're not just there to fall down on a ride and stuff like that. You want to get into the story and get into the characters and stuff like that and get into the world and experience it that way. So yeah, I get very excited. I think what will resonate with kids is the fact that this is a fun, feel-good movie, encouraging them to use their imagination and whatever you can dream can become a reality and stuff like that. And I think for parents watching their kids experiencing that and learning that lesson of staying creative and staying positive is such a good thing. And you're never out of the game. As long as you can team up with some good friends and turn it all around, anything is possible. That kind of stuff, especially as a parent, it has to be really nice and sweet and satisfying to watch your kids learn that kind of a lesson. So for parents, I think it's, one of those reminders that your imagination is important and don't just let it go. I feel like audience will walk away from this film filled with a lot of joy and a lot of love and hopefully a lot of, inner reflection on the fact that maybe I'm not, using my imagination as much as I can, or, maybe, I could, put a different outlook on how I look at the negative things in life, it all depends on how you take it, basically. There's got to be some kind of a light or some kind of a lesson or, you know, a piece of positivity to kind of everything that happens. So hopefully they'll walk away with that kind of feeling, just full of satisfied and, you know, tons of laughter, satisfactory laughter. Is that a thing?
My name is Matthew Broderick, and I just played Dad. Dad. His name is Dad, and he is her dad. He's in a situation where he has to take care of June on his own a bit. And he's just a dad very close to his daughter and doing everything he can to make things okay while his wife is ill. He sends his daughter to math camp to try to, he thinks she'll enjoy that. And the relationship turns into, she sort of cares for him more than he does for her in a way. I mean, she's concerned about what he eats and kind of motherly to him. So the roles sort of reverse between parent and child. June is very smart and precocious and a great, it turns out, architect. It's a very interesting and charming character, great kid character, and very nicely voiced and drawn, and I think very successful character. I like June a lot. She and her mother are very, very close. The whole family seems very cohesive and happy, and then the mom gets sick, so everything gets thrown off kilter. June gets much less, she loses her enthusiasm about things that she adored, you know. She sort of, I guess you could call it a kind of depression comes over her, you know. So she's just loses a desire to kind of have fun or to be creative. So in broad terms, the story is how she kind of gets that feeling back. The movie, I guess, is about saving June's peace of mind and her joy. You know, it's I guess you could look at it metaphorically. I mean, they're fixing a amusement park, but they're also kind of putting her back together. I'm in the arts, you know, so I use my imagination, and I love it, you know. And I think when you're a kid, you do that more. You know, my kids, they can interest themselves with a paper and pen or paint. You know, they love to draw, and it's such a nice thing. They have this whole imaginary world that they love and that entertains them. And as you get older and work and stuff, some people lose touch with that. So, but it's very important to keep it. Roller coasters, I used to love roller coasters, and my son likes them, so I'm on them occasionally again. They've gotten super scary now, but I like roller coasters. I would say that's my favorite. It's better than just being spun around until you're nauseous. There's ones that do that. I like the one at Coney Island. The Cyclone, of course, is very famous from the 20s, I think. That's fun because you think you might actually be killed, which helps. It's not just imaginary. The story is, I guess, how a kid deals with grief, you know, or fear in this case. And the movie tries to deal with that and show one girl's way to get past it and to move on with their life in a way. The story is very moving, you know. It's hopefully a movie that would make you laugh most of the time and also, you know, feel emotional. So it's like a combination. It's funny and sad, I guess, but mostly funny, hopefully. And you root for June, you know. I think parents and kids would feel that way.
My name is Norbert Leo Butz, and I am playing Peanut in Wonder Park. It's highly improvisational, so you're just trying to show up with a lot of energy and sort of see what sticks, see what happens. It's fun to discover it right there in the sound booth. Our protagonist is this little girl named June, and she is a kid who's extremely creative and brave and creates this entire amusement park in her imagination. And this park comes to life in this incredible, magical way. And that's the crux of the story. And we follow June as she has to confront her fears and learn how to sort of save this world that she's created. Peanut is a monkey. And I guess I did sort of look at a lot of YouTube footage of monkeys. I think I might have gone a little too far, because in the first couple of sessions, the engineers were like, you know, easy, you're gonna break our equipment. But that was the fun of it, that was the challenge. Obviously, primates are extremely physical, but they also have a lot of similarities to human behavior. So it's finding that balance between what we could sort of get away with and what wasn't too over the top. It was great fun though. He is the sort of producer and creator of Wonderland, and he is filled with tremendous energy and creativity, but you also find out later in the film that he harbors some deep secrets, and so there's this other side to him that is very inward-looking and kind of introspective. He's a really fascinating little monkey, but mostly he's filled with, he loves his work and is filled with endless, boundless energy for Wonder Park. Peanut is a big idea guy. He comes up with the huge, creative, big ideas. Lets other people kind of work out the details of everything, but he's the source of the idea. And because maybe he has shorter attention span because he's a monkey, maybe some of the details don't get all filled in, but he's not concerned about that. He wants a great, big new idea, and that's really fun to play. When we first meet June, we meet a really precocious, smart, spirited kid, extremely confident, and she suffers this loss, and she learns about loss at a very, very young age, and it kind of saps her imagination dry. And the movie is really her quest to rediscover that, and it's a really universal idea. I have an 8-year-old daughter myself, and I see a lot of June in her. The resilience of kids is incredible, and June really embodies that. The Wonder Chimps start off as sort of this benevolent workforce at Wonder Park, and they take a turn. They take a turn toward the dark side, and then the movie very much becomes a battle of good and evil, and of actually using your imagination to overcome evil is a big theme of the movie. I think friendship and teamwork is, oh my gosh, that's how does anybody get anywhere in life without a community, without friends, without people around you? And again, another one of the movie's themes is really family. It's about families that we're born into, families that we're thrust into, families that we create because of the situations in our life, and how we lean into them to help get us through. June certainly does. The central theme, I would definitely say, is tapping into your imagination, harnessing it, using it for positivity. June really represents that. Our imaginations, it's not just something for kids to harness and to practice. Everyone has to. It's through our imaginations that we see beauty, that we see hope, that we see justice. You know, it's a lens through which we can, you know, live our lives. If I could go on one ride at Wonder Park, hands down, it would be the Sky Flinger. First of all, it's a great name. Second of all, who doesn't want to be flung through the sky? It's this capsule that is put into this, think of it like a giant slingshot, and it just slings this capsule from one side of the park to the other side. Sounds terrifying, but a blasty blast. Really fun. I'm a big coaster guy. I've been to many of the world's great coasters. I can do anything that is high and fast, but I cannot spin. If it has a loop, I'm out. Something happened to me in my adulthood where when I spin, we don't want to go into it. I can't spin. Anything else I'm good with. I know the film will resonate with kids and their parents because number one, it's awesome. Number two, it, like all great family films have to have, it has a ton of heart. It has real emotion underneath, incredible effects, terrific adventures, amazing visuals. There's a real beating heart and a lot of love in this little girl, and everyone's just going to fall in love with her. I hope audiences will walk away and feel grateful for their families. I hope audiences walk away and feel inspired to maybe turn off their smartphones and go through their own craft drawers and old toy chests and invent games and create toys, and hopefully it'll be a catalyst for families to create something together.